having a big pen like this forces you to make some bigger marks. So this will be, I do have a habit of doing right-handed trotting horses, so I'll do one of those. So with animals in general, I tend to find the main shape, and I often start with horses. I start with the middle of the body because that way I can see how much room I've got on my paper and whether it's actually going to fit on. Sometimes you can start with the head and be really excited and spend hours doing it perfectly, only to find his feet have got chopped off on the bottom of the page. Disappointing. So horses often have this sort of fairly elongated tummy in the middle, and then the quarters often raise up a bit at the back, and then they have this base of the neck, the withers, which is where they're measured to. So the start of the neck comes up a little bit, which would sit in front of the saddle, and the shoulders are often this kind of slightly triangular shape. I'm going to give him quite an arched neck, and he's got his feet off the floor. So I'm trying to decide what he's doing with his legs. Not sure. This one's going to be stretched out this way. I often start to sometimes have an idea what the legs are going to be doing before I start, but not often. I sort of pick a leg and then it dictates what the other legs might be doing. Because I guess any of you interested in especially horses, I'm quite sure what that leg's going to be doing. I think it's coming this way. Got a hoof there somewhere. You know, there's a certain way that they move and a certain way that makes sense or not. So, for example, if they're trotting, their legs work in diagonal pairs. So, two diagonally opposite legs touch the ground at the same time. It's something it's easily forgotten. People that perhaps don't know as much about them but get caught up with wanting to draw them, they can get caught out because they'll draw something which they think's right, only to find out it's not actually how horses move. And it's the same with a lot of other animals. Not really sure what this is doing. I think there's an element of prancing going on here. So this back front leg will be somewhere over there. I often use a straight line just to dictate where the leg's going to go to help me. Something like that. You can see, although this, it's clearly it's not going to end up a very neat drawing, but it does have a sense of movement to it, even at this stage where he's headless. Just a bit of a shame. You get many headless horses. Looks like he's a bit proud and showing off a bit, so his head might be arched and tucked in. Horses have quite a distinct little cheekbone, which is this part at the top, and then a very long jaw for chewing all the grass they eat. So their jaw comes down to a little chin and nose, something like that. So they have some incisors at the front for nipping off the grass, but they have this great length of jaw for chewing. And you'll see that with most, like their eyes, with most animals that eat grass. Well, with all animals, you can work out what sort of things they eat and how they live by looking at how they're adapted. So horses have got teeth for eating grass, but having a very long head allows them to eat grass and see over the tops of it, so they can keep an eye out for tigers and lions. So most, in fact I can't think of any animals that eat a lot of grass that have very short heads, because most of them are trying to see around at the same time. So give them a little bit of mane or something. I think his head's a bit small actually. Just stretch his nose out a bit more. Like that. So they'll always have sort of shadow on the underparts, because of course that bit be furthest from any light source. So normally tummy is particularly dark underneath, and often the back of legs and things. Knees are an interesting one. They have quite knobbly knees in general. That's not right. Got a bit wrong, that one. But the knee itself will catch the light at the top, and is often very dark underneath. Same with the lower joint, be catching the light, and then a bit underneath it tends to be darker. So there are certain little things which I suppose are like little tricks once you... It's a little bit freaky, so slightly further away than I tend to work, so it's changing shape. A bit heavier. That heavy line's it's kind of slowed him down a little bit actually. I was using the pen to make a finer line to sketch with, and that gives slightly more sort of speedier movement lines. But you can see where I've got these heavy lines. He's gone a bit ploddier now, and he's turning into more of a cart horse. Making a bit heavier on the neck. So simply the width of your lines can make, you know, a huge difference, and you can see, okay, I've changed the actual shape of him as well, but those heavy lines give him a much stronger sense of sort of power and strength, so it's played into turning him into a more powerful looking horse with his feathery feet. Oops. Bending the wrong way. Watercolour's cockling a bit. It's important to get the rounded shape, certainly around their tummies here. Horses are very cylindrical, sometimes more so than others, especially in the summer. So it's important to get the sense of that shape, even if it's only with the marks of the lines going round like that. This is where knowing the underlying structure of something, whether that's actually a building or a human or an animal, that really helps. So I know, for example, at the back, horses have a pelvis with a bone head, like the hip joint there, going back across, coming back to their actual knee on the back leg, which is there. So where those bones are, especially when they're under pressure, they're nearer the surface and they're quite big, and you often get a lighter area over those because the skin's sort of stretched. So it's often a bit darker there, and a bit darker at the back under that. Give a bit of a chunky tail. Looks a bit light in the face somehow. A little bit of a beard. Lots of horses have beards, but only special horses have moustaches. Don't know if you've ever seen any, but some of them grow quite spectacular moustaches. So it's quite strange to see.